And very good morning to you. This is the Talk of the Town. My guest is a independent economist, or should I say, an independent economist, and he's of course Dhanusha Gihan Pathirana. Straight away, I thought I'd get into this whole problem. Obviously, Sri Lanka is facing a economic challenge of momentous and memorable sort of proportion. I'd like to ask you, in terms of this, the fact that Sri Lanka has very little foreign currency and so on, what's the mismatch in, I think you economists call it a capital flight and so on. How much money do you think Sri Lanka is missing, as in outside?
Yes, for us now, we've been trying to get this message across for quite a long time now, because there is what we call in foreign trade, in imports and exports, especially in underdeveloped countries like Sri Lanka. This is a widespread phenomenon that there is a flight of capital from the underdeveloped regions into more advanced capitalist economies, or what we call the metropolitan economies. This is a general condition that we see in the rest of the world, and there's so much of studies being done. Although the studies specifically focusing on Sri Lanka is very much absent, there is a specific study which is done on the entire developing countries, where Sri Lanka is also being considered. And in this particular study, they estimate the total flows. Now, when we say the total flows, it's not only the cash that has flown out. These are the total flows. So it involves assets, it involves currency, it involves also goods. So the estimate is for between 2009 to 2018 is an estimated 40 billion. So that is $40,000 million within a period of 10 years. So as you see, the amount is absolutely huge. This study is done by a firm called Global Financial Integrity. And this firm has been at the forefront of global advocacy, especially on getting the message across to world bodies like the UN.
Let's take a look at the other problem. Currently, a lot of controversy about the domestic debt optimization. A lot of people say that the banks have got away with it. That's what they sort of say. How true is this?
Yes, so this is absolutely true. And on the other hand, we see a huge hit and on the workers' savings, on the EPF and the total superannuation funds, or what we call in general the pension funds. A massive hit on the pension funds, which amounts to each year, mind you, each year 0.5% of the GDP. And this is so huge that it will basically wipe out the entire earnings of the fund within a matter of about 8 to 10 years. Because 0.5% of the GDP is calculated each year, and as we know, the GDP will increase with inflation, and the nominal amount that is accrued to 0.5% would increase also, similarly 7 to 8% each year. We don't see the fund's revenue growing at the same pace. So what we see is the amount of deduction from the fund is increasing at a rate greater than the incomes of the fund each year. So there will be a point that the deduction will be actually so great that there will be no income left in the fund in about 7 to 10 years. And similarly, the point you were making about the banks, I would like to say it's the entire private sector, the private bond holdings. If we look at the ownership composition of the bonds, we see 50% of the total bonds and bills, that is out of the 12.8 trillion that is in the form of bills and bonds as of end of 2022, right? 50% of that amount is held under the private sector, under various ways. What we need to point out here is what we don't see immediately is that the banking sector does not operate on its own equity or own capital. It primarily operates on the cash flow that is coming through the depositors. And what we know is that the top 5% of the depositors hold the a tremendous amount of the total deposit of the banking
Right.
sector.
Gihan Pathirana, thank you very much for being on the program. And we much appreciate your time. And it's now time to rejoin Dom and Asanka on the Morning Fix. Thank you.